Hi, I'm Chelsea from Paper Rock TO Studio, and I have decided to try the NaNoJouMo 15 minutes a day journaling. And so I made this video today to share what I did. I'm using a journal I made myself out of a cereal box, and then it has all the signatures made out of jelly prints. So right now in the video I'm flipping through the jelly prints, trying to find the page I want to use. The page I'm going to do is based on the dream I had last night about being fearless and surfing on big waves, which I've never done. Um, but I am very fearful of doing this voice recording over this video right now. So that's kind of what it's about. At the end of this video, you will see the finished page, and I really don't like it, and I see about 1,000 mistakes. But 15 minutes isn't very long, and I'm not going to change it or fix it. I'm just sharing it as it is so that everyone can see that not everything turns out the way you envisioned. So the first thing I did was draw my wave and stuff over the top of the jelly print using a graphite pencil. It's a very simple concept, a girl just looking out at a really big wave and just standing there. And so I'm trying to draw her. It's kind of hard to see in the video, the drawing, because the jelly print is very colorful and has a lot of pattern, but I wanted to use this journal because it's small, and I figured my big gigantic Dilutions one or something like that, there was no possible way I could do an entire page in 15 minutes. So I wanted to try something very small. And I haven't worked in this journal in a long time. There's only about 3 or 4 pages in it. But it is fun to have a colorful background to start with so that you don't have to do that part, so that you're not creating your background by doing all the different things that mixed media artists do when we create backgrounds. So what you're seeing is just me drawing, and I'll be quiet until there's something else to see. Now I've got out my Neocolor 2 watercolor crayons. These are probably my very favorite thing in the whole world. I wished I had a pack of 327 of them or something. I don't even know how many colors they have, but I sure love them. Oh, and I've also got some gesso there. I guess I did that first. That's just white gesso that I'm painting over the figure, and I will be painting it over the wave as well, just to kind of make a black canvas, blank canvas for me to put color. So yeah, that takes a while, doesn't it? I can see that I'm fussing with it. I fuss a lot. Alright, now I'm going to paint the wave. You'll actually be able to see it probably better once it's painted in gesso. The video is speeded up to 2 times. I don't actually paint that fast. I wished I did. That would be cool. It's very surreal to watch yourself doing something that you just did and then talk about it. This is strange, but I'm doing this because editing takes so long when you're trying to put in captions and music and everything, and this seems to be an easier way to do it. Oh, gotta drink some tea, okay. Oh, and I've gotta dry it. Now we're getting to my neo colors. There we go. I sure love these. I wonder how many colors they come in. I'm using a darker blue on the underside of the wave because I figure that's where the shadow would be if it was curling over like that. And then coming back in with a lighter turquoise color on the outside where the sun would be shining through the water. And then I have a little bit of a green to add because water's not really perfectly blue. It's especially not seawater. It has more of I don't know. Well, there's a color called seawater green, so I guess you know what I'm talking about. Now I'm using diluted gesso to activate the colors and blend a little bit. I like to do this because Neocolor 2s are a water-soluble product, but if you add an acrylic into them, then that makes them stand up better and be a little bit more sealed. So I usually blend with white acrylic or gesso when I use them. Not every single time, but most of the time. Of course, if you put too much of the acrylic with the water, then you can lighten the colors and they won't be as brilliant. But it works pretty well. And now I'm using some of the gesso, just kind of trying to just tap it on to make those little splashy areas when the wave comes across and rolls down. It's kind of splashy looking, if that makes sense. Then I'll go blend the sand. I'm not really sure why I chose this particular jelly print page. I think because of the swirly white parts in the background from the stencils I used on the jelly plate. I think that reminds me of that curling wave, but it also could have reminded me of the fern fronds that are on leaves too, so I just picked this one. I don't know why. It doesn't have turquoise in it, which would have probably been better. It's hard to see on the camera, but it has a lot of shimmery paint on it from the PBO Dyna paints. That's what I was using at the time that I made all these jelly prints. Now I'm starting to color the girl using flesh tone colors, her face and her arm. She's very disproportionate. I'm not at all happy with the way she turned out, but that's the way it is. Sometimes things don't come out perfectly the way you imagine them. It's just that I know I could do better. And now her pants. She's wearing yoga pants because she's out jogging on the beach. So they're kind of flared polyester pants was what I was thinking when I was making them. And black. All my yoga pants are black. She's not me. I don't look that thin. She's just someone. And of course I have to add purple because that's my favorite color, so she has a lavender tank top on. Probably should have made her hair purple. That would have been cool. But no, I made it kind of a blondish brown. I go back in with a graphite pencil quite a bit, trying to solidify features and adjust them to the way that I would prefer that they were. So you'll see me doing that quite a bit. The reason that I use my graphite pencil to adjust as I'm going is because it doesn't get jammed up with paint like a pen would. I'm notorious for messing up all my different pens by accidentally getting wet paint on them. I'm sure I'm not the only one. In fact, I know I'm not. I think it's a pretty common problem. All of the creatives seem to be a little bit impatient, and we can't wait for the paint to dry. And so we get out our detailing pens and try to detail something and then ruin the pen by getting paint on the nib. This happens all the time. So I use my graphite pencil because I know it's not going to get ruined. Also, graphite can add a little bit of shading if you blend it in with your brush as you're going. Some people really don't like that because it's gray, and so gray is kind of a dulling color when you're blending it. But I don't know, get gray on my paintings or ruin my pens. Can't tell which one would be worse. I have a few different flesh tones out. I'm trying to create shading and highlights using different colors of flesh toned crayons and blending them with my white gesso. It's hard to get a lot of detail on that small of a face. Now I'm coming in with darker purple, adding some shadows to her top. And then coming back in again with the lavender to just blend again. To make sure it's all blendy and smushy. And a little bit of white gesso. For highlights, of course. And drink more tea. Now adding some highlights and shadows on the pants. Of course they're black, so you don't see that much of a difference. I see that I got too much water there for a second and had to blot. Now I'm taking the color directly from the end of the crayon onto my brush to add my shadows. I've probably done that before on this video, but I didn't pay attention, so I'm not sure that I saw it. So therefore I couldn't comment. And another layer on her skin. I think my time is running out and I'm still fussing and fussing. This is how it goes. And even after all the fussing, I still didn't like it. Maybe I'll like it better tomorrow. That sometimes happens. I don't know if that happens to you, but for me, if I just leave something alone and don't look at it for a while, then the next time I look at it, it looks a whole lot better. But I'm not sure anything is going to help this little foreshortened person. no amount of time unless she grows longer legs or something. Darkening up the hair because it was blending too much into the background. And some pink for her cheeks. Trying to get the crayon to give me some pink, but it won't. I ended up having to just grab it and draw it on there. Oh yes, then I get out some of that Dyna iridescent green-blue paint that's on my table for another project, and I add that because it's so pretty. And there is a lot of that iridescence in the background print, although I know the camera doesn't really pick it up. But I think it's picking up the iridescence that I'm adding, though. That's kind of cool. Oh yes, I get out my Posca pen and add a little bit of white to her eye because it got kind of obscured by the different colors of flesh because it's so tiny. But the white dot was so big that I had to blot it and then go back in with my graphite again and draw the details back in. Oh, she needs a blue eye. Had to add that. This page is taking way, way, way too long to fit into the 15-minute challenge. If I decide to continue this tomorrow, it's going to have to be an entirely different type of page without a lot of drawing. Maybe some collage, stenciling, stuff like that. That I can probably do quicker. Still more fussing with the hair. And finally, we're getting to the caption. I had to take a little break. Sorry, the phone rang. And I'm doing the caption. No fear. First I did it with a graphite pencil, and then I'll go in with a black Posca pen and fill it out. I'm not hugely fond of my own handwriting, but if I draw it carefully and then I go over the lines and make them thicker, it looks okay. Now I'm getting out a tiny pen. These are Prismacolor ink pens, and I start with the very tiniest one. That's the one that I want to use, which I think is a 005, but it's not writing very well. So I go ahead and do the 0.05 instead. I'm always trying to decide if I should draw black lines around everything like an illustrator, which is my inclination, or if I should try to leave things just plain. I think I do probably more of an illustration look than I do just a plain art look. Maybe I'll get over that someday. So just drawing the black lines all around. I know her hair looks a bit strange. I'm just gonna say it was blown back by the ocean wind, and that's the reason that the top of it is all weird. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Of course, if it was being blown back, it would have literally be back from her head. So apparently the wind is only hitting the front part of her, or the top of her head, and not yeah. I wish this turned out better. Okay. I think it's done enough. I guess I'm adding a little bit of watered down gesso in the background just to tone it down a bit. It doesn't really make that much difference. And I know that I did go in and add white splatters at the end, but I think it may have been off camera. I'm still new to this whole filming thing. It's all very new to me. I hope that it's not too dull and terrible and hard to watch. I don't know. But anyway, pretty sure I'm almost done, so I want to thank you for watching, and please like or subscribe or do what you do if you like it so that I know. Thanks. Bye.